Anglo-Saxon warrior destined to be a champion for the ages and a national treasure for all time.
Hello everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Today we're going to be taking a look at Car Wars, the 6th edition. The 6th edition. I mean, figure this one out, right bro? 6 editions. Now, is this like your dad's? Because this game is over 40 years old. Over 40 years old, okay? So is this the same game that your dad played? Okay, or if you're old like me, you played when you were a young kid. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to go over everything. I'm not going to cover everything, but you're going to be able to play this game because there's a lot of changes, a lot of differences. But you know, I've never played a bad Steve Jackson's game. Now, has that changed? We'll find out at the end of the video when I give you my review of this game. Right now, what we want to do is we're going to go down and we're going to take a look at everything. I'm going to give you an overview, how it works, how it plays, how you do movement, shooting, crashing into one another, and all that stuff. And I want to keep it nice and tight and then come talk more about this game, what this game means, and why, and I'll just give you my thoughts on this latest edition. I don't do unboxing, so I'm not going to show you everything that you get with it, because I think unboxings are just a cheap way of saying, hey, I didn't read the rules yet, but I want to get some views on a brand new game. I mean, that's pretty much what I think unboxings are. But let's go down to the table. Let's take a look at Car Wars, the 6th edition. All right, so what I did here is the box comes with a bunch of already pre-made cars, which is really, really cool. So I took one, but as you can see, I'm going to move this out of the way. You could actually use this on the template, and on the other side there's another car, but you're primarily going to take this, and you're going to take a bunch of cars. You're going to have build points, armor points, and crew points. And you're going to take certain cards and you are going to build your car. takes about 10 minutes. Okay, but what it does come with, the box set is it's going to come with some pre-made cars, which is pretty cool because they're on both sides. So depending on what car you want to use and stuff like that, and they got everything all done. So if you just want to have a quick game, hey, get your shoes on and get ready. This is going to be good. Raven says, hey, I remember playing the original pocket version of Car Wars back in the early 90s. Look forward to seeing how much it's changed. Well, this game actually started back in the 80s, to be honest with you. But again, just a really nice thing. We're going to talk about the dashboard. We're going to talk about the cards and what they mean and how everything works here. Okay, you're going to have a bunch of dice that you're going to use. This is like almost like your most important part of this entire game. I painted up a couple very quickly cars just to kind of because I get killed if I don't show you a painted car, right? If I just broke out with playing cars, you guys kill me. This is Rob's Tabletop world. We do a lot of painting. This is very interesting, and it changes a lot of things compared to the old versions. But let's go over things very, very quickly. You have a dashboard here. This here is going to be your tires. This is your power plant. All right. See how cool this is? It's your armor. As you get hit and use armor, guess what? You are going to subtract from this. Your speed, your current speed, and what you're going to do. These green things here are your control. Okay. And these are the things that you are going to be paying. You're going to be looking at the beginning of each turn to get control markers, because that is going to help you from going out of control, because after all, you're driving like a madman and you're going to be trying to shoot your opponent. Okay, so you really want to be smart in what you do here. Okay, because you cannot carry these over. Okay, and if you get hit, or if you decide to speed up, the more speed you use, the less markers you're going to get on the next turn. Okay, so you're going to start, if you start at speed 2, okay, you're going to get 6 of these markers, and I'll show you how these come into play, and you spend these, but they do not roll over to the next turn. You have to go to the beginning of the next turn, either reduce your speed or bring it up to a new max, take your control points, okay, and I'll explain how all this goes. So let's start with the very first part of the thing. You're going to check your speed, okay? And at the very beginning sequence is you are going to check your speed. So we're at speed 2, which is 2. That means you're going to be moving at speed 2, and we'll show you when we come to movement. So when you do that, you are going to take, after that, you're going to go to the take control, how much control you get. There's also these other icons that you get. They're basically like re-rolls, okay? But you're going to get these are like maneuver tokens, and every time you make a maneuver, you are going to get one of these, and there's different cards that can give you different things. Now, just a really quick and hit on some really quick points here, and I want to make sure that I hammer home some of the stuff that you guys understand here. Control ace. Okay, these are ace tokens. I wanted to make sure that we got the terminology right. Let's talk very quickly about building your car, and then we'll go over this entire thing. We'll go over the car, and then we'll go into basic movement. We'll talk about combat, and then we'll go through the sequence of play and tell you how to do this. And we'll make this pretty quick. This here is a car that has 10 build points. Okay, it's going to have 2 armor, so we're going to have 2 armor on each side. You're going to have crew points of 3, and up here in the left hand corner, if we're going to zoom in a little bit here, and forgive it, it's going to take a second to set there. Okay, there we go. As you can see, we've used 3 points here. Okay, our main crew driver, you have to have a driver and a gunner in every car that you make. Now, you can accentuate and get higher tiered weapons. It depends on what type of game that you want. These for a small game or a small car, you're going to decide a small game is 24 build points and below. Okay, and usually you kind of designate your armor points, your build points, and your crew points. Now, as you can see, some of these things don't cost anything. You get a handgun. Now, each crew member shares a handgun, so they each have one, but it doesn't cost anything, and it's going to help you. You're also going to have build points. So like right here, we have wheel hubs, which are going to help us. We're going to have 2 guns here. Okay, as you can see, those are 2 points each, so you got 6 points spent here. We have rockets in the front, but if you notice, there's 6 points of rocket. That would be over our build point. But here it says, hey, if you take one of these rockets, you're going to get an additional rocket as well for free. And then we have an accessory here for 1 point, so that's going to be a total of 10 points. They're all going to do different types of things. Over on the left here, if we just come down a little bit, is the dice that you are going to roll. You're going to roll 2 red and 1 yellow, and I'll show you how that works. The black star means that once you automatically hit with 1 damage on that. The little triangle here is the tolerance or life of that particular crew member, or the endurance of the particular weapon. So if they get hit and somebody shoots into your side and they get past your armor, well, we're going to be pulling cards, and what's going to happen is they're going to take damage, and once those are damaged, they are completely out of the game. Okay, depending on the points, like I said, on a small game, it's 24 points. On a larger game, it's 25 points. 25 points, you are going to use these damage cards. Okay, for bigger, you're going to use these damage cards for bigger games. But for smaller games, for 24 points and below, we are going to show you how to use these and what they do once you get past the armor and start internally damaging everything. It'll all make sense, trust me. All right, so now that we explained how this all works, okay, these are your tires. I think I said power, speed, and armor. Okay, we made sure that we covered that. These are the dice that you're going to roll. And certain dice are going to do certain things. This is your maneuver dial, and we're going to show you how that works. Okay, so what we're going to do is, the first thing, we're going to show you a little bit of movement just so you understand how movement works. And what I'm going to do is move this out of the way, and we're going to come up a bit, and I want you guys to see how this all works. All right, so our green car here is just driving and saying, yeah, we're going to bring it old school. And we have a couple of views. Let's see which one works the best here. Not that one, but maybe that one. Yes, exactly. He's driving at 2 speed, okay? And the way this is done, it is so simple, it is absolutely ridiculous. All you're going to do, okay, is you are going to mark each end of the car. As you can see, this is marked, and I want to show you a base and how it works, okay? And just bringing a base here, as you can see, everything's marked off on the bottom and on the top. You don't count this, and you don't count this little piece at the end. We'll show you what this does. And this is absolutely genius, okay? It's absolutely fantastic in how this does. And then, of course, you're going to see your arcs here for where you're going to be firing: front, back, left side, right side. Okay, makes pretty good sense, right? The other thing that's really cool about this, as you can see, these are hollow on the bottom, and I'm going to show you why this is such a fantastic thing here. So if we're moving at 2 speed, okay, all we're going to do is match up the points and then go all the way to that next point. That is considered one movement, okay? If we want to make a maneuver, because if you remember, like I said, you make a maneuver by turning this. It's hollow underneath here, okay? And let me show you from above so we can really take a really good look at it, okay? All you're going to do is just move this to each point. Now, on each point here, as you can see, there is a dice. Okay, so when you make a maneuver, you're going to have to roll to see if you lose any control. And depending on how many of these control markers you have, remember we said we start with 6, right? So we have these control markers, so I'm going to put these right here. So, for instance, I'm deciding that I'm going to move once, and then I want to make, I want to make 2 movement points, okay? I want to go down to the yellow here. Now, that's how I want to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 dice, 2 yellow, a green for that maneuver there. Now, you can always do the slight and not have to pay. And then another yellow because we moved all the way to D2. Makes sense, right? We're going to roll this. And we're going to see what kind of control we have. Okay? Well, stars don't matter. Stars only count in combat. But these symbols here have double meanings. Okay? When we are checking for control, this is bad. But if we are rolling for defense, a shield is good. Okay, you got it so far? This is tire damage in the control phase. Not very good, right? But it can help some of your weapons. If you roll this, you're going to, when you are firing on something, you can actually do some explosion damage depending on your weapon. Like, say we fired a rocket. Right here, it says, well, if you roll this symbol during an offensive phase, well, guess what? You're going to do some special damage that can cause nothing but bedlam, of course. Okay? So, now how do we resolve this? Okay? Well, because we did a maneuver, we get an ace token. Okay? Fine. No problem, right? Okay? This is tire damage. So, what happens is that you are going to, and I'm going to just bring this down here, you are going to take some tire damage. Okay. Seems easy enough, right? And then being out of control at 1, it's really not going to affect you too much or give you too much of a problem, but you're going to lose a control. Remember what I said, to make this, when this comes up, you're going to lose that control. Now, say, for instance, we rolled a whole bunch of these, okay? Which aren't going to be good. And is there a shield on here? Yeah, sure, there's a shield on here. And say we only have like 1 control. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not a great thing, okay? Because we're going to pay for the 1 control to get rid of that particular dice, but we're still going to take 3 damage there. That means that we have gone out of control. And there is an actual chart in here that shows us how, and I'm going to go to it so you guys can see it. Here we go. And right here is where, if you go over that, you're going to run into. So we did 3 additional damage here. Align the car so that it completely covers the D3 zone on the turning key. So that's going to be a big problem because you're going to take and you're going to kind of just slide erratically. If you ever get to the 5th zone here or the 4th zone here, so for instance here, what we would do is, and let's go to our other camera here just so I can kind of show you what happens here. Because we went that way, well, guess what? We are going to now slide uncontrollably 3 different ways, okay? And that may not be where we wanted to go. Okay, now we can get shot from behind by this other guy that's coming up on behind here. That wasn't what we were planning on. So that could be really bad. If we ever take too much damage, okay, we're going to go to this and then flip over. Okay, and then we're out of the game. It's as simple as that. Okay, very simple mechanisms and how things work. Another thing that you can do is, which is really cool, is that you put your card here and at no cost you can slide your car. So I'm gonna bring us up to the top here, and again, let's move this camera this way a bit. Okay, there we go. And if you ever want to slide, you can slide, and as you can see how easy it is, you just slide. And right here it says no damage dice put in there. So all you're going to do is just roll your speed, okay? And as you can see, we only got one. So if we had control, we just say, hey, no problem. We slid. We're going to move that over. Remember, these don't mean anything until combat, okay? Really simple system, and just as easy can be. You want to make sure that you do your 2 movements. Like I said, 1, and then you would come up again if you wanted to move, and then move 2. Simple as that. Nothing too complicated about it, and just very, very simple system. So let's talk about combat real quick, okay? And we're going to hit on that. Let's see. I'm just going to check a couple things. Ray says, got my double ace box. Okay, good for you. Nice. Stop by to say hi. I was listening to your video on HQ. Oh, okay, that's something else. All right, so again, we're going to take a look at this, and like I said, you're going to start with 6 control and say we have some movement. Now this is always whenever you make a maneuver, you're going to get one of these, and they're really important because they're going to help you re-roll any kind of damage that happens in combat. So for instance here, the firing arc is pretty much printed out here. So from here to here means that I can hit this guy right here, and at a distance of this, there is no additional reroll that they're going to do. So again, all we want to do is, I'm just going to move this here. But if it was outside of this, okay, then for every one they're going to get to re-roll any die. Now, how they get their defense die is depending on how fast they are going. Remember, if you're going only speed 1, okay, well, you're only going to get 1 die because you are going slow. So you're going to get 1 yellow and you're going to roll that. But if you're going speed 2 or speed 3, you're going to get additional die to try to save against getting hit. So let's talk about how that works. And we're just going to keep it really simple, and we're going to say we're right in between there. He's right in his target. He's going to be using this weapon, which is 2 red and 1 yellow. Okay, and we're going to roll to try to hit. Hopefully I can hit, right? Well, I got 1 hit, but let's just say for all intents and purposes that we got 3 hits into their right side, and we're going to use this as their template just to show how that goes. They are going to get to roll 2 dice, okay, and because they are going speed 2, and he gets a defense, which is fine. But if he had one of these ace tokens because he did a maneuver on the prior movement phase, okay, and the way it works is that you do your movement, he does his movement, then you move down to combat, he does his combat, then he does his combat. Okay, so he says, well, you know what, I'm going to use one of these. I want to re-roll that, and hopefully I can soak up more of that damage. Well, no, he doesn't. So he takes away, that'll take away one of these, and then the 2 will go through. There's a couple of ways that you can do about this. Okay, you can move that, okay, and that will soak up the damage. Okay, and you would go down to no armor. Now, if you were able to go through and say he had a whole bunch of damage because he used some kind of special weapon or whatever it was, and that went through, then what you would do is you would have to account for the fact that that you went through the armor, so we absorbed the 2 armor, and that went through, and then we have 3 damage going through. You're going to take one of these cards, and you're going to mix them up, and you're going to turn it over. And then it's going to tell you, okay, structure. Okay, can we take any structure damage? Well, that's been used up. Tire damage, limit to 2. Well, okay, we can absorb 2 of these with tire damage. So 1, 2, okay. Accessory, limit 1. That means you can only assign 1 damage per this card on an accessory. Well, he has an accessory over here. I believe it was oh, this says take 3 during your control phase. So he would add a bunch of rerolls that he could have rolled. Okay, well, he could take 1, and he would put a damage token on it. And guess what? That only can take 1, so that's gone. So he loses that, okay? And if he had more damage, well, a gunner would take 1. All right, and our gunner here, he has 3 health, so 2 more, he'd be eliminated. Power plant. If we had even more damage, you would start cranking down your power. And then you would, if you ever get to 0 on your power, you're going to lose the game. If you ever lose both your driver and your gunner, you're going to lose the game. Okay? So it's as quick and as easy as that. There's nothing too hard about this. It's very simplified. And these cards have different types of things. There's structure. You always keep checking for structure. Accessories, weapons. Sometimes fire. You're going to start a fire. Starting a fire is flipping this over. Okay? There's a little control here. And you can say, well, I have a fire on the left-hand side. Okay? And how fire works, it converts to damage. So you can either lose a certain amount of control, okay? Especially with fire or any kind of explosive damage, you lose 2 of these, and then, like I said, you're going to be using your control, trying to maneuver, trying to do certain things, and it's going to cost you because, again, you have to be very, very smart. To extinguish a fire, it costs you 2 per fire. So if you got a bunch of fire, you're going to also take damage for each fire. So every time you take damage, well, guess what? That's not good, and your power plant keeps going down. You can say, well, I'm going to take a damage. I'm going to let the fire burn for a little bit. But don't play with your power plant too much, because it can go pretty quickly. And when you start taking damage, trust me, it piles up, and it piles up quickly. You're going to have to figure out where and how you're going to absorb that damage, because when you're left with no armor, everything goes internally and then starts taking out either your driver or your internal engines or your tires. Now let's also talk about, as this goes down, you can see there's some marks here, okay? And what's going to happen is max 3 speed. The max speed you can do is 4. The max speed you can only go is 3, 2. The more you lose tires, the more you're going to lose speed, and that's going to put you at a different disadvantage. And as you go up and down speed, okay, at the beginning of the turn, you're going to check your speed and make sure that you're where you need to be. So let's kind of talk about that real quick, and I want to hit home on this. We're going to start with how a turn goes. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check our speed. So if we are at full tires, we're at 2, we don't have nothing to worry about. But if we have tire damage, okay, and it says the max that we could be is at 3 and we're at 4, it doesn't cost you anything, but you have to get down to that max speed. Okay, that's all the very first sequence does. The second sequence, depending on where you're at, okay? Say we're at full power here and we are at speed 2 because we're not going out of control. We count up how many of these are showing, okay? We have 6, so we are going to make sure that we take 6 control, okay? You may have an ability that is going to give you one of these ace tokens, but for the most part, a lot of times, you're not going to get them unless you do a maneuver. But we have an ability where we would get 3 of these at the beginning of each turn. If we do not use these, they go away. They always go away, and then you have to recalibrate. Now, the next thing that you're going to do is manage any kind of fires. Okay? Well, we don't have any fires going, so that's what we don't worry. Then we move to movement, and this is where, like I said before, we're at speed 2. Well, you can adjust your speed, okay, in this section at the movement phase. You can go up 1 or you can go down 1 at no cost. But you can overdo it, and if you want to go up 2, okay, well, that's going to cost you some power if you adjust your speed that way. Or if you slam on the brakes and go down 2, that's going to cost you a tire. Makes pretty good sense, right? Really, really easy system. Nothing too hard. Okay? There's nothing complicated about this. And again, I'm giving you a nice overview. After we do movement, okay, you're going to go to combat. We showed you how combat works. Very, 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 very simple. And during this, you're going to be using control. You're going to be using these. And then at the very end of the round, all unspent control or ace tokens go back to the supply, and then the first person token will be passed to the next person. So now he would go first in movement, and he would go second in movement. So it alternates between the two teams. And that's primarily it. The other thing is how does crashing into somebody work? Okay? Well, this is very, very, very simple and very, very cool, actually. I'm actually going to pull this back a little bit here. Okay. For instance, we've got our guy here, and he's got 2 movement. He's going to move up an entire 1, okay? And the minute he touches there, that's going to be the end of his movement. He didn't use his full movement. For instance here, if he was here and he has a full movement, the minute he touches, that's where it's going to go. You're both going to lose 1 control, okay? So they're going to go back to the pool. There is no additional damage if the person to your right doesn't have any control. If he doesn't have it and can't pay it, that's okay. There's no additional damage to that. But if the guy crashing into him has that control, he has to use up that control. Then, depending on what your speed is, so say we're at speed 4, you're going to roll 4 of the yellow dice, okay? And you're going to roll the dice, and holy capoly, okay? 2, 4, 5, 6 damage. Both cars are going to take 6 damage each because he went flying into it. And if you're willing to do that, you're willing to do that. So you're going to lose your front armor. If he loses his front armor, then he's going to negotiate and has to take care of the additional damage. Okay. Him, on the other hand, there is no rolls here. There's no re-rolls or saving rolls for this. You have to just take what you get hit with. So he would lose his side armor, and then he would negotiate with the card, because there's only 6 of these cards for this particular because we're playing under 24 points, and man, things are getting nutty. Well, guess what? Structure, no limit. So if he smashes into him and he had 2, well, he's going to use 2 of the 6. Then he's going to take out an accessory. So now he has 3 more. And then it would go to crew. Limit 1 each. All right. He already had 1, so he's going to get 1. And then power plant. Okay. That means that we had 3 more to go, and that would start bringing the power plant down. Now, very, very key. As you lose tires as well, you are going to lose the ability to have the UPS guy. I don't know why I do this at 3 o'clock, but the UPS guy comes every day around 3 to 3:30, and I didn't think anything was coming today. But anyways, speed 4. Well, you're not going to get any control because you are running too fast for that particular car. Tires. If your tires are down to 4, okay, as you wear out tires. Well, guess what? You're not going to have as good control. On your next phase, when you come back up, you're only going to get 2 of these. And you have to spend these wisely, because as these go by and they go through, you start taking damage internally, okay? And things just go bad. And it's just a fantastic system. But we're not done yet, okay? Because they're both touching, okay? He still has 3 more movement. And now watch how this works. You want to be very deliberate and slow. Okay? You're going to move all the way to your next point. And as you're doing that, as you can see, because the way that's rounded, this is what's going to happen. And that's going to completely move that car that way. Now, can you do a maneuver? Sure. Maybe you want to move into him. Well, you can move into him if you want. but I don't advise that. As long as you're still touching, you're not going to do any kind of additional type of damage. But you can move away, and if you decided to do that and then use the rest of your movement and go that way, well, guess what? You know, you still have to roll your speed, which would be 4, and then 1 green there. And God only knows what kind of damage you'll do to yourself there. And as you can see, I just made a mess of that. And that would cause all kinds of speed control that I cannot account for. Okay, because maybe I don't have enough control, or I do have enough control. I can get rid of that and I say, okay, well, I made that maneuver. I used up all of my control. I'm as happy as it can be, because you can be dangerous as long as you have control. You want to use up as all the control that you have, because at the end of the turn, it goes away. So you want to make sure that you don't waste it, and it's going to prevent you from doing and causing even further damage down the pike. So a very, very unique and neat system as far as crashing into somebody, because, you know, I'm going to hit this guy, right? And then I'm going to keep going. And again, you're just going to go slow, slow, slow. And as you go slow, and you want to be very deliberate about this, okay, slow. And it starts to move the car naturally, which is really, really cool. Now, there are all kinds of terrain that you can run into in this, and it really is cool, because if you have terrain on the map, you can run into terrain. Let's just say that this was a piece of terrain. You would roll whatever the terrain dice is. Well, let's just say, for instance, here you run into some brush. Well, you're going to roll 3 dice, and you're going to take that kind of control damage. Okay, well, you take 1. That's all right. I got a control. I can deal with that. Not a problem. But from there, you're going to take, and then you are going to, usually it's a hard wall, and you are going to move a certain amount to get, because you're going to bounce off either that wall or whatever it is. The other thing is line of sight. There are certain things that there are partial cover that you're able to shoot over. You're able to shoot past a car to hit another car. We're still working and painting on some of the cars. We just got this yesterday. But you're going to want to do that. There are multiple crashes that you can have, which are just insane. Firing arcs are basically through here, and wherever you see the most point of the car. Now, snapshot rule always comes into play when that is. These rules emphasize fun and fast play over physics. Sometimes a car may move in an unrealistic way, or a weapon may not be able to shoot towards a target that it looks like it is pointing towards. It may help to consider the state of the table at any given time as a snapshot of the arena battle, rather than a continuous ongoing simulation. When in doubt, favor the defender. So that's a neat rule there. The dice, I just want to show you. Stars are always hits. Shields are used both in the control. For control, they're bad. And for defense, they are fantastic, because they're shields, and they negate any kind of incoming hits. Wrenches are always tire damage, okay? Or on the offensive point, such as in rockets, they will do explosive damage if you roll a particular wrench. Pretty simple, pretty down to earth. That is the nuts and bolts of what this is. This is not your dad's Car Wars, okay? So what are my thoughts? What do I think? Well, let's come up top and give you some thoughts here. Okay, as far as this game is concerned, and there, I didn't even show you half the stuff. There are just so many expansions that they already come out. It depends on what Kickstarter you have. I don't know. I bought this off eBay. Okay, and there, I didn't get Car Pack 4. I want to get my hands on that one. I have Car Pack 3, which is fine and more than enough for me. You're going to get all kinds of drop weapon packs with mines and stuff I didn't cover. A lot of things I didn't hit and expand upon. There's tons of weapons, crews, and all kinds of different cars, and just Just a lot of fantastic stuff and a lot of replayability. The bases, the cars, the ingenuity behind this is absolutely brilliant. Now, here's where I'm going to get serious and I'm going to talk about this, okay? I think that you are going to have a very, very small group of people that are going to say, this isn't Car Wars. This isn't Car Wars. Because they like the old micromanaging system, which is, I'm an old guy. I played Car Wars, in my 20s when it first came out. Okay? And loved it. I loved how complicated it was. But it doesn't fit today. Okay? And as an older guy, I can sit here and I can tell you, I think this is fantastic. One of the big attractions to Gaslands was the fact that it was simplified. It wasn't algebra anymore. Let's face it, the old, and I have it right there, and I'm looking right at it. The old Car Wars, I have the first edition, second edition, third edition, fourth edition. I have every edition. And it was a lot of work to get it to the table. Could I put the old Car Wars on my table and sit there and play with my younger children, my grandchildren, or even my son, who is, late 20s. My daughter, who's early 20s. No. And it's nothing bad about the generation, as much as it is that, hey, Dad, if I want to play a smash-up car game, I'll turn on the Xbox. Okay, why do we have to build this car? It's going to take us about an hour to build cars, and then we have this huge map with these teeny-weeny micro machines, because I have all the micro machines for it. Does it make me want to get rid of my old Car Wars stuff? No, it has a special place, and it reminds me of a time gone by. But this updated version is perfect in so many ways, because now it actually can compete with Gaslands, okay, which is a nice simplified system. It does everything perfect. The cars are bigger, and I can take, my grandchildren when they're 8 or 9, okay, and they get older, or my son even now, and bring them over and say, hey kid, come on, you want to play some Car Wars? I'll teach this to you. You'll learn how to do it in about it'll take us about 10 minutes. Okay? Take us 10 minutes to build your car. Here's your points. Here's your things. Here's how it works. All right, you ready? Let's go. And you have a tremendous experience here. Like I said, I think you're going to hear a little noise from traditionalists, and I think it's unfounded. This has the feel of Car Wars. Steve Jackson, I would love to see him do giant size of everything he has. He's done it with the fantasy game. He did it with Ogre, which was fantastic. And he's done it with this now. Okay? And this man can do no wrong in my eyes. This is a fantastic and glorious experience. This is something that I look forward to trying. Whatever they're going to come out with, I am buying. I don't care how I get it, how I go about getting it. I'm going to make sure I get it, because this is ingenious. And the two guys that did it, Sam and Randy, tip of the old hat from the old boy here. Tip of the old hat from the old boy here, because I'm going to tell you right now, this is tremendous. I love everything about this. This let me come up here. The dial here, absolutely ingenious. How everything is kept in front of you and controlled, and everything that you need to know about your car is right here. Your tires, your power plant. You're not sitting there checking all kinds of forms and erasing and putting things in. Your speed dials are just, everything's adjusted. How much control do I get? Well, I don't have to count it up. I know how much I need, and I got. And it is made to just where everything is kept in front of you around your control dial here, and you are just more concentrating on your car, what you're going to do next, what's going wrong, how you're going to overcome it, and you're concentrating on your cars instead of looking at your sheet and trying to figure everything out. This is tremendous. This is a 9 out of a 10 for me. This is everything I was kind of worried that they were going to change it so much that it wouldn't have that feel, but it has that campy. I'm just waiting for Uncle Albert to come flying out. It has all the little nuances, and you feel it. The mounted weapons, the cards, the drivers. It just has this Steve Jackson feel to it. And again, this is like one of the favorite things. And there have been some great things that have come out this year, but this is just one of the best things. And if you are waiting for this to come to your home, I'm telling you right now, get it to the table as soon as you can, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Hats off to Steve Jackson Games and all the people involved, the play testers, the designers, the people behind it, the care. Listen, when this thing went to Kickstarter and they promised that they were going to get this out, Steve Jackson always gets it out. There may be a little bit of a delay. Even with all the shipping problems, he still got it to a majority of the people. And a lot of you are going to have it by Christmas, and more of it, I think is coming out next year sometime, which the minute I see it, I'm going to get my hands on it. Right now, I got to hunt down Car Pack 4 because I want it all. And it's one of those games, when you start messing with it, you can't stop thinking about it. And that's what happens here. I don't stop thinking about it. I'm going, wow, that was cool. I wonder, boy, I can't wait to build my own car and play 24 points. And what am I going to do? Where am I going to put my armor? How am I going to do this? Do I want to go more armor? Do I want to go more offense? What kind of car paint scheme do I want to have? Do I want to have a posse? Do I want to start doing this, that, and the other? The other thing is, I'm going to get some maps and stuff like that. You don't have to, they have the map pack. You don't have to stand by that. You can just get yourself a desert map and just maybe even draw out your own roads and stuff like that. Or play in an open parking lot or an arena or whatever you want to do. I'm going to do an arena. I got the crowd. I'm going to build a crowd around it and just, hey, last man standing. And that's the first video that we're going to do. We're going to do arena. It's going to be 2 weeks from now because we got a whole bunch of stuff next week. But I'm going to take some time. I'm going to do a video on painting the cars. I'm going to show you how easy it is. So when you get your pack, or if you have not already gotten it, you're going to come and you're going to say, well, show me an overview. I got a good idea. Let me read the rest of the manual and get all the little things that Rob missed. Okay. You show me how to paint the cars. It's easy. Piece of cake. Okay, we're going to show you. I whipped out 2. Check out Instagram and Twitter. Not Twitch. Twitter. If you don't follow me on there, just go take a look at the cars. You can see how quick I made these cars. They get beautiful art where you can follow along and go, okay, that's the way I'm going to paint my car. Every single thing done with this particular product is absolutely fantastic. Quality. We're in an age where he's taking a look at games. He did it with Ogre. He says, well, wow, this is the game I always wish I could do. Boom. There's Ogre. Okay. Giant size. Car Wars. Oh, okay. Guess what? We don't have to go with all these paper maps and stuff. We can make big cars and we can do all this stuff. Boom. Giant size Car Wars. The fantasy trip. Okay. Let's put it all in one big box. Let's make it all pretty. Boom. Did that. Munchkin Dungeon. Look how great that was. How much fun that was. Okay. Those miniatures were gorgeous. In an age where he can do all this stuff, and the next thing I want, Triplanetary. All right, big box Triplanetary. Steve, I know you don't watch the channel. Why would you? Go do it, my man. Go do it. Because I'm telling you right now, this and what you've been doing and taking games that back in my time, okay, 40 years ago, we would never dream of having anything like this. And now that we are in this age, 40 years later, that I'm still playing around with this stuff, and I have the advantage and the health, and thank God, and all the other things, the wherewithal to be able to see what I used to have in a little pocket pouch. Now I have a nice big box over here, okay, with all kinds of goodies and big cars, and hey, there's no reason, if you wanted to, you can hole out some matchboxes on the bottom and just drill them on the bottom and put them onto these things. You could do whatever you want. You can make your own different type of cars. Do whatever you feel like doing. Okay? Get yourself a little drill. Drill them out. Drill out those matchbox cars. And then they fit right on here, folks. You just got to get the right size of drills. It's 2 holes, one bigger than the other. And guess what? He left it wide open for you. All right? These cars are beautiful on top of it. You don't need the matchbox cars. This is fantastic. Another just tremendous job by Steve Jackson. So there you have it, folks. 50 minutes. I like keeping things under an hour. Let's see if there were any questions. No, kept it nice and tight. Ray said he got his double box. Cool. Soul Razor stopped by. Chris said he loves the system. Gunpowder Studios. Hey, Rob. Hope you're doing well. This looks great. It is great. Kerry Vines. What's up, party people? Well, Car Wars. Game Line says, very good presentation. This is one I would not have been curious about, but now I am. Thank you very much. So I'm telling you, when this comes to miniature market, because he always has things go to retail. Why wouldn't he? He's smart. Okay. I would jump all over this. Jump. All you need is the regular box. You don't need the extra maps. You don't need all the extra stuff. You can get going with this. Go to his site. He's got a thing where you can pre-order this and get this shipped to you. Okay, as he gets more, he will get it to you. Go to stevejacksongames.com. I'm telling you, I'm promising you, and I'm putting my reputation on the line here. This is one game you will not be disappointed in. Pick it up. Go to Steve Jackson now. Get it while you can. I'm telling you, it'll end up like Ogre, where you're going to be vying for it and you're going to be dying for it. I guarantee it. This is some of their best work. Some of their best work. And I will not stop raving about this. We will have painting videos. We will have a live playthrough arena deathmatch coming to you soon. Tomorrow we've got some things going on, possibly. I'll see the time that I have. I think we're going to be doing finally Wings of Glory like we promised. Then next week we've got Space Hulk with the gear stuff, because that Kickstarter is going to be going live. We're going to be doing the painting of Car Wars next week, and then the following week we'll be doing some other things. We've got 7 Moons that we are going to be doing a solo playthrough of. And then we've got some more sports games to fill in the gaps. We got a lot coming. I got a lot of work to do. I hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, guys, I love you all. Thanks for watching this. I hope this helps. Again, I did the best I could off the top of my head. If I made some mistakes, I apologize. But I think I gave you a good, clean gist of how simple and how great this is. Okay? You can look at all the unboxings you want. They're not going to tell you how to play. And, I wanted to give you something real quick after reading the manual for a night and a half and really give you an idea of how this works. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps. I hope it makes a decision for you. Go over to Steve Jackson Games to pick it up. I love you all. You mean the world to me. Be good to one another as always. And as always, tomorrow's never guaranteed. And until next time, it is your old pal Rob saying, I will see you soon. Go get this game. You will not regret it. Hit the like button and subscribe, please. If not, that's okay too. We're fine. We're just going to keep doing what we do. Take it easy, everybody.